This is a deep hole down below the water table. Now it just rained. This soil is very non-permeable, so it's holding about a foot of water there. You can see on the left that I've already piled up some rotting logs. The key word, rotting. They're only started to rot. There's a lot of substance there. A lot of years in which they can hold moisture. And eventually the whole thing will be filled up with that kind of log. Now the reason I've left that fairly intact and petrified log up by the side is that allows me to build up the soil very high up above the water table for good drainage, and this soil will eventually go in. But before that happens, these clods here, which have soil on or grass on one side of them, will be flipped in upside down on top of the logs with some cardboard and some seaweed in there. The seaweed is good minerals, and also it will keep the moisture from evaporating up, and the cardboard will also keep, for as long as it lasts, prevent any sprouting occurring up above from these pieces. So I'll put the seaweed down, then these clods, and then the cardboard, and then once that's done, it'll be a combination of growing media mixed in with the actual nice dark soil from the hole. And the reason that this works is that the logs themselves will hold moisture. They will wick moisture up from the water table after every rain. And of course, if you want to just dump a hose in there for an hour and literally soak the hell out of everything, they will rot, and they will hold good helpful bacteria, and also a lot of moisture all through very dry season. That's very important in this location, because in this location I'm quite exposed to the sun. There's no cover here anywhere, and there's only some large trees over this way that will keep the morning sun from hitting it till about 11 o'clock. So it'll have still have dew and water seeping down into it until about maybe 10 or 11 during the growing season. Well, maybe 9 the growing season and 11 in the shoulder season. And some of these rocks will probably use to build up around the edges. So this should be able to have a good variety of, I'm doing it in sort of a spiral or diamond shape. There should be a good variety of sizes of heights and moisture levels. Now this, I'm going to generally put drier crops in that just need the steady moisture wicking up from below. Now if you notice that right nearby here, this soil is so impermeable that even though really just 2 meters away there's a ditch, and this water isn't getting to that ditch. So this almost is a pond, and I thought of doing a pond here, but that just aesthetically wasn't what was desired. So we're going to go for a big garden. It also, to some degree, helps shield from the road the visibility of the house, which is over this way. So there is enough room here, though, to walk by or put a hedge or trees or other things without interfering with the garden. Now, the reason this is getting the drier crops is because there's already a Hugelkultur over here. You see what a mature one looks like. And in that mature one, a bunch of old boards are used to sort of dampen growth. I have to pull some of this grass out. But this was built in exactly the same way, and it's built in, as you can see, a kind of a boomerang or a spiral shape that allows warmer or drier things to go up the middle here. So like rosemary and stuff, and that was actually alive and green until the last snowstorm. And here's a perennial surviving sages. Here's a bunch of chive growing back up, and that mint is already starting to come back. But as you notice here, you can see there's a wellhead and a puddle right there. So any water that I pump out of this well that goes into this Hugelkultur will literally end up back in the well. It's impossible to overrun your well, no matter how dry it is. Excess water simply goes back down. So you can sit a hose in this for weeks and you'll never run out of water. So this then becomes very easy to keep very moist. And if you look eastward, there's quite a bit more protection and cover and the house will protect it in even the shoulder season. So it won't really get full sun until the sun hits the top here where it's open, and then so you get much less sunlight. So it gets the same afternoon as the other one, but it has this advantage that it can be endlessly watered, whereas the one further away actually is going to be in the sunlight earlier and hold it later, and therefore it's going to dry out more. So despite its nice deep hole, this one was not built by digging out. This was only put on top of this, essentially the surface here at grade, knowing that there wasn't a whole lot of need for excess water retention, because the water was going to just end up back down in the well. Now, something similar could be done right over here by this one, which is a dug well. There is room for a third hugel here. If you get a view, there's the composting all set up with rocks to protect from bears. They have been knocking it apart. So that'll probably end up moving. And there may be another hugel over here that has the same advantage of this one, in that extra water will go back into the dug well. Can't do anything really with the spot right behind it, because, you know, you can't drive past it. And between the telephone pole, the hugel, and the dug well, essentially want to leave, in case there's ever need to access heavy equipment or move a shipping container back there for purposes of extending the house, you need to leave, you know, this 10-12 feet here. So essentially that is the line of gardening. And so some things have gone back in here, like some blueberries and such, but this will get cleaned up by breaking it up and moving around the compost when the next hugel is built. So that's that. A couple of Hugelkulturs on the way, and this one produced probably close to 100 pounds of tomatoes and maybe 30 of beets, and a lot of kohlrabi. And of course, it still has all these nice perennials in it that survive fine in the winter here in Shelburne County. So we're looking forward to great things from this. Now that it's more matured, it'll probably expand slightly as we pull out the grass bits and flip them over, and put some more growing medium, and probably try to make it, I don't know, seaweed it a bit and make it taller. This one over here will be similar, and we'll probably take the more of the perennials, the drier kinds of crops, and the wetter crops will go over there because of the advantage. So that's the early and late construction process on a Hugelkultur, and hopefully this is of some use. Bye.